Secretary Carter, the President's spokesman, after it was clear that the arm and train and equip by the DoD program had failed, President's spokesman said that the President felt vindicated that this program had failed because he never supported it to start with. This was a program that we invested $43 million at least of a $500 million program. I'm not sure how many young people were killed in trying to implement this failed program. Did you feel vindicated when this program failed?
Mr. Chairman, I thought that the effort, and I want to repeat something that the chairman just said, I think that General Nagata, who was given this program, which was conceived last summer.
Yeah, I just asked the question whether you felt vindicated or not.
No, I was disappointed.
President's spokesman.
No, I was disappointed in it. I wished it had turned out differently. However, we are learning our lessons from that, and therefore our new approach differs in a fundamental way from, and I can describe the difference between the old and the new, but we think that we have learning lessons from that.
So you don't feel vindicated that the program failed?
I was disappointed that it failed.
I see, but the President obviously wasn't. He felt vindicated, according to his spokesperson, in this change that you were talking about, and already we're seeing some of the changes. Does that mean that we, these young people that we train and equip and send in to fight, that we're going to protect them from being barrel bombed and attacked by Russian aircraft?
I think we have conveyed the same obligation last time I was before you.
Right now, as we speak, Russian aircraft are bombing. Right now, as we speak, Russian aircraft are bombing moderate Syrian forces in Syria while we have deconflicted. Do you believe that we should be protecting those young people?
Our Title 10 forces, we have an obligation to protect. We've stated that. We will have options to do that. We have authority to do that.
Are we protecting them now?
They have not come, they're operating in, they have not come under attack by either Assad's forces or Russia's forces.
Russia's air has not been attacking.
Coalition and the Kurdish YPG.
No, I'm asking about the moderate Syrian forces that are there, some of whom we train.
I was speaking of our training.
I'm asking the question about those that some of those we trained and equipped, moderate Syrian forces that are now being bombed by Russia.
With respect to the Title 10 forces that the Department of Defense trains and equips in Syria, they have not come under attack, but we have expressed.
None of the moderate forces that some of whom we have trained have come under attack by Russia from the air?
Not in our train and equip program, our Title 10 program now.
It's fascinating.
But let me be clear, Chairman, the Russians and obviously Assad do attack moderate Syrian forces,
yes,
which are supported by the international coalition. And one of the reasons why the Russian approach is so
are we going to train
wrong-headed?
Are we going to train these young people? You say in the change, are we going to send them into Syria to fight? Are we going to protect them from being barrel bombed by Bashar Assad and protected from Russians?
Yes, the ones that we
anyone we send in and train, we're going to protect from Russian air attacks.
We have an obligation to do that, and we've made that clear right from the beginning of the train and equip program.
We haven't done it. We haven't done
They've
it,
not
Secretary
come under attack, but
I promise you they have. We will. You will have to correct the record. Now, General Petraeus and former Secretary Gates, and now we understand Secretary Clinton have all stated that they think we should stop the barrel bombing, and that we should train and equip, and we should have no-fly zone or aircraft exclusionary zones. And I might point out, General Dunford, as complicated as it is, we were able to do Northern Watch and Southern Watch rather successfully in Iraq, although it's not exactly the same. So are you recommending that we should stop the barrel bombing, as General Petraeus and former Secretary Gates and now Secretary Clinton have suggested, to stop the barrel bombing, to provide an aircraft exclusionary zone in order to protect the innocent civilians that are being driven into refugee status in the greatest refugee situation since the end of World War II?
Yeah, Chairman, we have, as I indicated in my statement, analyzed zones of various kinds. and the humanitarian zones, buffer zones, and you're talking about no-fly zones, and I can give you some of the considerations.
And stop the barrel bombing.
That would be one of the intents of a no-fly zone. And if you'd like, I can tell you some of the considerations that
I'd just like to know whether you support or not.
We have not made that recommendation to the president. He has not taken it off the table. I can explain some of the reasons for our recommendation or our.
It's not an issue that has not been examined, Secretary Carter. It's been recommended for years by some of us.
Exactly.
I mean, you have to examine it all over again.
We've looked at it quite closely, and I'm prepared to describe it. I know the chairman is as well.
It's an issue that's been on the table for 3 or 4 years that I know of. It's not, we received information when General Dempsey said it would cost $1 billion a day or something incredible, but it's not a new issue.
It is not a new issue. It is a substantial military
So
undertaking.
it seems to me you should have a position on it.
We have not recommended that. We have analyzed it. We've presented the alternative.
So you do not support, you do not agree with General Petraeus and former Secretary Gates and Secretary Clinton?
We do not have a concept of operations for a no-fly zone at this time that we're prepared.
After all these years, we don't have a concept of operations.
That we're prepared to recommend.
Senator Reid.